My goodness. Okay. Well, our first guest is a writer and a performer and a poet and a podcaster. Throw that in there. Why not? Her recent book of poetry, Life of the Party, is a must read as far as I'm concerned. Olivia Gatwood is here. Olivia, good tidings to you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank
Hi.
you for having me.
Absolutely welcome. It's so great. I gather you are in Santa Cruz.
I'm in Santa Cruz. I don't have a rabbit to show, but
Well,
I thought what I could show was
yes.
this plant I own that makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would say so.
Doesn't
What
it makes
what
you
kind of
uncomfortable?
plant is that?
Well, it's a cactus. I think it's called like a coral cactus. I don't know what to do with it because I hate it. I hate it. I hate looking at it. I hate interacting with it. I've moved it so many times. Um, it just looks like a wound. I don't know. So that's
Yeah,
what I have to show.
mostly a physical thing, or does it have a kind of weird vibe?
It has a weird vibe. It just and then it's has a strange energy and it's I think fairly old, so that's not surprising.
Did it come with the place?
No, I bought it in Koreatown in Los Angeles because I
Oh,
liked it. I
uh-huh.
chose it really,
Yes,
and then
yes.
it changed. Something changed for me.
Oh my. Well, that can be very disheartening, can it, when we bring someone close to us and then they change or
Oh,
disappoint
yeah,
us?
very familiar. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But Santa Cruz sounds like a lovely place to be, and you've been surfing?
Yeah, yeah, I feel lucky to be here. I surf a lot. I grow food. Yeah, I'm outside. It's nice.
Yes, making salads of all kinds, I suspect.
Yeah, I've made salad 2 days in a row now with things that I grew.
Well, I'd
Not
like to grow something. I would like to grow anything. There's just no yard, just nothing. Um, well, I want to thank you. We have your book right here, Life of the Party, and it's terrific. This book, it's powerful, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, and we get a little sense of it with that plant, is that you've been able to kind of channel or at least focus rage and some of the feelings that you have. Is that fair? You've managed to be productive with your rage at a time, and I feel like there's a lot of rage out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've always found rage to be a pretty productive emotion. I'm really debilitated by sadness. I'm not a person who creates when I'm sad, I want to sit and look at a wall and disappear. And I actually think that's a common experience. I think the idea that artists like create when they're at their worst or at their lowest is not as true as maybe people think it is. But rage is energizing. I think it's productive and important, and yeah, it kind of propels me forward.
Yes, well, and if you can find that, if you can tap into that, as you said, it's so hard to work from a place of just overwhelming grief, which I think a lot of us are in right now, to the point where I get just weepy thinking about anything that happened before this time,
Yeah,
any part of my life that I experienced. It makes me very sad.
yeah, totally.
But one of the things well, that's it. That's all there is to say about it.
Yeah, I know I don't have a response. I'm like, yes, it's I try not to look back, but it's
It
hard
creeps
not.
up on you.
Although I'm sort of used to this now, which
Yeah.
is weird.
This
But
moment you're used to.
at this moment I'm used to it. It almost feels more strange, the life I used to live, than the one I live now.
Yes, yes. Well, shifting slightly into something that was delightful for me about reading your book was that you made a reference to the Gowanus Canal in one
Hmm.
of your poems in The Scholar. And I was so happy to see that. Of course, we love our little Gowani. Did you spend some time near the Gowanus? I've never seen it used as a descriptive in the way that you have.
Yeah, I lived in Brooklyn for 4 years. When I went to college there and stayed there after college, and I was really fascinated by the Gowanus actually because I loved it, but I think it's because I was like living in a city and rarely saw bodies of water. So I just like was so drawn to it. But then always every conversation was about how repulsive it was.
Yes.
Um, and so when I had to write this poem about feeling repulsive, feeling gross, and feeling like everyone knew that about me in the context of New York, which is where
Mhm.
that poem takes place, Gowanus seemed like the Gowanus Canal seemed like the right fit.
Perfectly done. I make a lot of my own essential oils, and I have a number that have been inspired by the Gowanus Canal. Whenever I want a little hit of hot chemical August, or did that just move? I just put up my diffuser and
Hmm.
let things loose. But that's true. It is a repulsive. To call it a body of water is generous,
Well,
indeed.
anything things start feeling like bodies of water when you have none. You know that you can fill your sink up and feel enlightenment if you try hard enough.
Well, yeah, I haven't tried that, but I'm going to fill up my sink and see if I get calm. Are there other self-care routines you could recommend like that?
Yes. Let's see. I think if you have access, sitting in the sun is really valuable. Um, let's see. Taking your time bathing. I guess someone might chastise me for wasting water, but I think being with your body can be a really healing experience. I really miss bathhouses.
Hmm.
That's something I miss from the former world that I feel will never come back. How could they? They could never.
You don't think the
So
heat would kill the virus?
I don't know. It's already like suspect, you know.
Yeah, yeah, true. You're not
Yeah,
starting at the highest position.
yeah. I don't know. And making a routine and being deeply forgiving for breaking that routine. I think those are my methods for self care.
And I think those are all pretty good. Now, how do you think that this isolation period has changed you, if it has?
I think that it has both. I was living in really intense solitude before it, and so actually not much about my immediate life has changed. But I think before it, because I was living in intentional isolation, I very much adopted this idea that I didn't need to socialize and that I like didn't need intimacy. I was on this sort of like empowered woman, like I don't need anyone, which like still true, but also not having even just the small amounts of connection that I had before has made me realize how important it is. I mean, I've hugged one person in like 11 weeks. Um, and suddenly it's like, man, it's like, fuck sex. Am I allowed to say that on here?
Sure.
I just did. Okay. Well, let's see. It's almost like the thing I thought I would miss the most is not that. I just want to be hugged.
Right. Just to experience touch would be enough at this
Yeah.
stage.
So I've
Yes.
learned a lot about what I actually need.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's important.
Yeah.
And do you think that when we come out of this, there'll be some kind of revolution of some kind of touch-based experience?
Yeah, I think we're learning a lot right now about what the different ways that intimacy can look, you know. I think we're learning a lot about intimacy through verbal communication, which is something that many people don't partake in. I think, you know, some of my friends are writing letters, and even the emails I exchange with the people I work with feel more like letters now. There's these like kind of long check-ins, and um, I think people are learning a lot about their who they hold close. Um, yeah, so I actually do. I think that there will be an interesting revolution in like in intimate community, whereas before maybe people were operating on a larger scale and kind of trying to collect friends, and now suddenly it's like you just want your little circle.
Yes, yes. That term hyperlocal comes to mind,
Yeah,
as it
yeah,
often does.
hmm yeah, yeah. I
I
feel
think about
grateful to
that.
be in a small place for sure.
Yes, yes. Well, speaking of small places, you grew up there in Albuquerque. Is
Hmm.
that correct?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I spent some time out there in Santa Fe, and I got to tell you, in terms of places that smell good, that's a place that smells good.
Yeah, I just bought a pack of New Mexican scented incense of all the trees,
Yeah.
because I really wanted to burn some pinon, which I haven't burned in so long. And so
Mhm.
I have pinon, I have cedar, I have alderwood. Oh, so good.
It's so good. If you could be a scent, what kind of scent would you be?
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like I would, so the scent that I wear is vetiver. I wear it as like as a perfume, which is really intense, but that's what how I am.
Hmm.
Though I don't know that that's actually my scent. I think I'd be something a little more muted. Um, but I don't know. I think something. I think maybe like vetiver. If you put it on the day after a day that you were wearing something more citrusy, but you didn't take a shower. So the citrus scent is still lingering. And then you're like, actually, vetiver is tonight. And then you layer them. And then that's mixed with your pheromones. I think that's how I'd smell.
Yes, powerful. For me, it would be Penn Station first thing in the morning. Just as the
Sort of,
Dunkin'
is that
Donuts have
sterile?
started. Is that what?
Is that sterile? Is first thing in the morning after they've mopped?
Oh, it's got still a little bit of cleaning fluid in the air for sure, but the Auntie Anne's first batch has gone on, so you can get
Oh,
a bagel half pretzel,
very nice.
combo going. Yeah, yeah, just the hustle and bustle of it. Um, well, uh, scent is so important to me, and even thinking about it, as I said, it just makes me emotional. I think it's my
Yeah.
strongest thing. All of my memory lives in the scent.
Yeah, I agree. I want to hug someone in large part because I want to smell them.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
I'm right there with you, Olivia. Um, and of course, you perform all the time, and you must be missing that and getting out there. But you're doing a lot of these kind of things, a lot of Zooms?
I'm actually not. I didn't. I think I'm really late to things always in my life. My friend the other day was like, "Why haven't you put on a show and like charged for it and like made it?" And I was like, "Oh, I could do that. Like, I have an audience. Like, I hadn't considered it. So, I actually haven't been doing that. But it feels good and it's fun and cool, and this is super cool.
Good. Well, it has been super cool to have you here. The book is Life of the Party, and once again, I just can't tell you how deeply felt your words were for me to read, and I think especially anybody should read it. I think fellas should read it and get a sense of what's going on. I just thank you for the good work that you're doing and will continue to do.
Thank you. Thanks for spending time with it. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here, Olivia. People can find your podcast is called Say More.
Yeah, I have a podcast with my friend Melissa called Say More.
Wonderful. And probably doing some writing at some point, I bet.
Yeah, I'm writing all the time. I have a novel coming out in 2022. That's
Wonderful.
my
Well,
plug.
I love it. Get that plug in there. We love to hear it. Thank you so much for being here, Olivia. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you again at some point.
Thanks for
All
having
right.